Aloha, siblings. My name is Bill. I am the atheist anarchist advocating agape, and my pronouns are he, him, and his. In this video of ASMR gameplay, I am playing a game that is, well, they're calling it Mastermind Online. I'm not 100% sure that they have anything to do with Invicta, so they might be misusing the name, I don't know. In any case, it's Codebreaker stopped working, so this is going to be the new game I play in place of Codebreaker, since it stopped working. I guess that's about it, really. Oh no, wait a minute, I gotta do the YouTube business, don't I? So, please, if you like my videos and I find any value in them at all and anything, then please subscribe, please like, click the like button. When you subscribe, they like you to click the notification button. By they, I mean, the YouTube algorithm, so I don't know. Anyway, so like, subscribe, hit the notification, comment, please, and like other people's comments, that kind of thing. Please share with your friends, so that other people might dig my stuff and, spread the word, right? Let's see, I also have my social media links in the description, so Instagram, Facebook. I also have SoundCloud for some music that I compose that also kind of goes along with, I have a music channel on YouTube that is called 3 Monks in a Tub. There's a link in the description. I have a vlog channel that's called WC Postman, and it also has a link in the description. Those are both not terribly active right now, but yeah, they will be. I'm just trying to get this channel kind of humming along smoothly before I put any more effort into those. I think that's about it for all of the mundane stuff. Yeah, okay, so let's move on to playing the game. So there's a couple of cool things about this one. That you, instead of, if you'll remember the old Codebreaker, you had 5 spots, and this one you only have 4, or you could choose 6, or you could choose 8. And it also has a thing here so you can allow for duplicates, all of which makes, this is fairly simple. These get more complex the higher you go. Well, maybe these two are similarly complex for different reasons, and allowing duplicates certainly makes things a bit more interesting. I think that covers all the stuff. I'll explain rules and the like as I go along. I think that's probably the best way to demonstrate how it works, and so if you don't know how to play, you can learn how to play. Oh, I'll also put a link to the game in the description, so if you want to try your own hand at giving it a go, then you'll be able to do that. Okay, I guess that's it. Let's just start a game. And here we go. So, we're going to start with, I'm going to do what I've done before with Codebreaker. I'm just going to start with a single color, and we'll just go along and see how that goes. So, we do know that red is in it. I don't know which of the 4 it is. Oh, that's the thing. Red means you have it in the correct, it's in the puzzle and in the correct spot. You'll get a white peg, means that it's in the puzzle, but you just haven't found its correct spot yet. So, I will guess that red goes there. I don't know for sure yet. So I will add blue. Okay, blue's not in it, right? Because I still only have 1 scoring peg here. So it can't be blue, it's got to be red. But since it's white, that means that red is not in the correct space. So we move that. And we'll skip over blue now, and I'll add yellow. Okay, now I know that the red one is corresponding to one of these yellows, because if it corresponded to red, then that would mean that the yellows aren't in the correct spot, and there's no place for them to move to, because red is already occupying the only other space. So one of the yellows is correct. I don't know which of the 3 it is. I'll just arbitrarily choose that, and then I'll come back and we'll put the red there, just moving it, 1 more space. And okay, now that we're done with these 2, we know that both these colors are in. We're hoping that we're finding the correct location. So I will now add green. We'll add the green. Okay. Now I have 2 of them in the correct spot and 1 of them's out. So this is a little bit trickier. So which one is it? Because it could be these 2 and then red moves over, right? Oh, it cannot be yellow and red both correct, right? Because then again, the green will have nowhere to go. Okay, so it's similar to down here, just, there's just more color, so it's a little more complex. But it's the same concept. Also it could be that it's red and green correct, which would mean yellow would go over there. I'm going to just guess, just arbitrarily, that we have yellow and green correct. And now let's move red. And this is all basically still, I'm guessing, because I don't have quite enough to have a for sure position on them yet. Okay, we'll click the check button. Okay. Now the good news is we know the correct position for 3 of the colors, and it would be the 3 colors that we know about. Right? So what that tells me is pink's out, right? Okay, I hope that makes sense. So we know that the red pegs tell us that we've got the right position, so we'll just put those in, right? And again, since this line tells us the 3 colors are yellow, green, and red, now this one tells us that yellow, green, and red are all in the correct spot. So we'll move a different color into there. We'll try white. Wow, okay, we got it. There you go. Pretty straightforward. All right, I'm going to try again. That's one thing I find a little disappointing about the interface of this game, is that you have to go back to start the game. There should just be a start game button or something like that. I'll do a couple more, and I'll try to kind of just get a little bit slower. Maybe put in a little bit of whispering here and there, just for fun, but not much. Oh, because I will be doing, as will be my new habit, alright, so the strategy is going to be, I think I've talked about this before, here, hang on a second, let me go back to here, just so I'm going to do this thing. I think most of you have realized that I'm doing a mind test, and mind test happens every other Monday. And I think going forward, what I'm going to try and do is on the Mondays that aren't mind test, one of them will be a gameplay that will, the Wednesday after, will be a whisper version of that very same gameplay. So I hope that makes sense. And then we'll go like mind test. The next Monday will be a whisper version of like either this Mastermind thing or Sokoban, or I think you guys get the idea of the games I play. And then the Wednesday after that will be I'll play a whisper version of whatever game I just played that Monday, and then the next Monday will be mind test again, and then the next Monday I'm going to physically play one of the kind of games that I play, like the just me playing myself in backgammon or solitaire or that kind of thing. Probably mostly be just those two, because I like doing those. I did do blackjack, but I didn't really enjoy it, so I probably won't do that again. I might, I might try doing something with the Mahjong set. My mom, well, she's now dead, but she has this, there's a game that's, it's actually kind of a family thing now that mom's dead. It's a Mahjong, it's a physical Mahjong set, and I think it's actually antique. But so I'll probably be doing a show and tell about that at some point in the future. And then after I do that show and tell, whenever I finally get around to it, I will then include it, so it'll go, like solitaire, and then backgammon, and then the Mahjong, right? So those three will rotate, so it'll go, mind test, computer gameplay, mind test, physical gameplay, right? And rotating each of the different variations, and then back to mind test, etc. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, so let's go back to here. So let's try to be a little bit slower. Get myself settled in a little better. Okay, let's play a few more of just the 4. So again, I'll just start pretty basic. Is red in the puzzle? Yes, red is in the puzzle. I don't know which of the 4, so let's choose that one. Alright, now let's add blue. Alright, I did not get the correct spot for red yet, so I'm going to move it over one more. And then now I will introduce the yellow to the puzzle. Alright, good news is we found the right spot for red, right? This red scoring peg means that one of them is in the correct spot. Well, we know red for sure is in the puzzle, so yellow's out, and we know where red is. So now, let's introduce the green. Okay, green is out because we got no new scoring pegs. So again, let's put the red back where it goes, and introduce the pink. Alright, we know that pink's in the puzzle, we just don't know which of these three spots. So, we'll go get the red. I'm going to arbitrarily choose that the pink goes there, and I will introduce the white and see what we get. Alright, we know for sure already that we found red, so I can keep putting it in its place. Now what I know is pink doesn't go there, so it's got to go into one of these two. But what I do know is that white, because it also has one of these white scoring pegs, refers to these, they're not in the correct spot. There's only one spot for them to go to now, which is there. Alright, now I'm going to just arbitrarily guess or put pink there, and then now I will introduce black and we'll see what we get. What do you know? We got it correct. And now let's go back and just play another game. And Alright. Oops, red is out. Let's try blue. Alright, blue is in it, but which of the 4 spots is blue in? Let's just start there. Now, let's introduce the yellow. Okay, we know that both of these are in. One of them is in the correct spot, and the other is not. So, it has to be that it's one of these 3 yellow that is correct, because if it was the blue, then the yellows would have no new spot to move to. So, it has to be one of the yellows, and blue needs to move. So we'll put the yellow there, just because. And now we'll move the blue one, and I'll now introduce the green, just to see where it might go. Okay, a similar situation to what we had in the last game. I think this will be a common sort of occurrence with the way this game works, because it only has the 4 slots. And anyway, so we know that 2 of these are correct and 1 of them is not. Now we don't know which is which just yet, so let's see what we can reason through. One of the correct ones has to be one of these green, and again that's because if it was that these 2 red pegs refer to the blue and the red, the blue and the yellow, then the green would have no new place to go to. So it can't be both of them. The problem is right now I don't know which of the 2 is correct because I don't have enough information yet. Similarly, I know one of these greens is correct. I just don't know which of the 2 it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick the left-hand green, and I'm going to pick that the blue is correct, and then now I'm going to move the yellow one and see what that gets us. And then now I'll introduce the pink. Okay, good choice of guessing, huh? So the 3 colors that I'm sure of are all in their correct location. So I will keep them where they are. And we'll put the yellow there. And now I will introduce the white. Nope, it's not white. So again, we'll be keeping these all where they are. And now we'll guess that it could be black. Oh, I didn't put it in there. Holy mackerel, there we go. Hey, what do you know? We got it correct. Okay, I'm going to do one more version just like this. And then I'll add in allowing duplicates, and we'll play a few of that. And then depending on how long I go, I might do some 6 or 8, or maybe I'll save that for a future game or something like that. I mean, I got to keep you guys interested somehow, right? Alright, here we go. Let's say red, 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 red. Nothing there, okay. Let's try blue. Okay, we do know that blue is in. Again, I just don't know which of the 4 it is in. Let's try that. Now I'm going to introduce yellow. Just to, keep the game going. Alright. What I do know is that the blue's in the puzzle, so yellow's out, right? Because we only have 1 scoring peg. And it's white, so blue is not in the right location yet. So let's try it there. And now let me see if green is in the puzzle. Okay, green is in the puzzle because we have 2 scoring pegs. Right, and we know that green has to be one of these 3 is the red peg. Again, because if the blue was correct, meaning the red peg referred to that one, then the white peg would refer to these green, and there's no new place for it to go, right? Because blue occupies that spot. So it has to be one of the 3 green. I'm just going to guess that one, and we will move blue along. And now let's introduce pink. And here we go. Alright. One of them is correct, and the other 2 are not, but I know that all 3 of these colors, green, pink, and blue, are in the puzzle. So I'm going to arbitrarily guess that it's the green. It might not be, but I don't have enough information to make a determination just yet, so I'm just going to guess the green goes there. Then I will have to move the blue 1 more spot, because, right, if this refers to the green, then the 2 whites refer to the yellow. Excuse me, I keep screwing up the colors. What's wrong with my brain today? Okay, the 2 white scoring pegs refer to pink and blue, so they're both not in their correct location. Okay, so I've moved blue 1. Now the only place for pink to try is there. So if I've guessed green properly, then these 2 will have to be right. But if I didn't guess green properly, I'll have to try something else. So let's see if we can find the 4th color. And okay. Alright, so it's not that. I've screwed something up there, so which one was it correct? Let's go back down to this line. It wasn't the green. So let's assume that it was one of these pinks. I'll just arbitrarily assume that it was the left-hand one. Alright. Okay, so if we assume that this now refers to this pink, then that means that both the green and the blue can't be in this spot. Alright, well, we've already tried blue there. But if I put blue there, you'll see that it matches this line, right? Because if this refers to this pink, right, then we can stick in there, yay. But that means that pink, if it goes there, it can't be here. So that's one of the white pegs there. And remember from the whole bit of logic I just did going through that stuff, that it was all based on green being here, which should have given me 3 red. So if it didn't, that means green wasn't there. So we'll move green there. And we know white is not in it because we still only have 3 scoring pegs, so it's got to be either black or purple. Let's try black. What do you know? We got it right. Alright, you know what? 1 more like this, and then I'll start adding, allow for duplicates. So let's go to here. Again, I'm just trying to see if red is in the puzzle. Red is not in the puzzle. Let's see if blue is in the puzzle. Yes, blue is in the puzzle. I'm going to guess there. And now, let's introduce the yellow. Yay, okay, we know. that they are both in, and we know that we've found the correct location for each. Well, sort of. We know that blue's right, so he just goes right there. Now, the thing is, I know that yellow's in the correct spot with only one of these three, and I haven't enough information to determine which. So I will just choose to try this one, and then now I'll see if green is in the puzzle. Alright, green is not in the puzzle, because I still only have 2 scoring pegs, and one of them is red, which we knew would happen because of the blue one has to be in the correct spot from this line. So we know blue stays there, because he'll stay there for the whole puzzle, right? I hope that makes sense. Now, yellow will just move along to see, because of the white peg says not right location. Okay, and since we only have the 2 scoring pegs, that means that green is out. So let's try the pink. Yay, alright. So we know blue and yellow, because they're all red. But now we have another choice to make, because we know it's in the puzzle, we just don't know which of these 2 spots. So let's just try the left-hand one, and let's introduce the white. Okay, well, I guessed right there, which is convenient. So everybody that's in the puzzle stays where they are. So the 3 colors I know about, blue, pink, and yellow, right? They're all where they were before. They just stay there for the rest of the game. And there's only going to be 2 possible lines left because it's either black or purple. So let's try black first. Nope, it's not black, so we know it's going to be purple, and this will solve the puzzle. And here we go. Voila. Okay, now I'm going to go back again. I'm going to go ahead and allow for duplicates. And I'm going to say let's start the game. Okay, now this will be interesting because I haven't played it very much now. We know that there's a duplicate of red. I don't know which, but 2 of these red are in the puzzle. So let's try them just there and there, just why not? And now let's see if blue is in the puzzle. Okay, one of the reds is correct, and the other one is not. And since we only have 2 scoring marbles still, that means blue is not in the puzzle. So I'm just going to guess that it's this one, and I'll move this one over to there, and now I'll introduce just the yellow to see if it's in the puzzle. Alright, let's see what we get. Oh, they're all not in the correct spot. Alright, well, since we know there are 2 red, and both of these red are not in the right spot, there's only 2 other places for them to try, which is there and there. Now, we know that one of these yellow, because I only have 3 scoring pegs here, right? So it means one of the yellow, and only one, is in the puzzle. So it has to go in one of those 2 spots. Right, one of these there or there. Right, so let's put it there just to try it, to see. To test it, I suppose, yeah. And now we'll introduce green. Okay, so I know that 2 of them are in the right spot, and we've already figured out that it was the red, right? Because if they can't be in those 2, they have to be in those 2. So they'll stay there for the rest of the game. And we know that both of these are in the puzzle, right? Because we have 4 scoring pegs now, and we know that both of them are incorrect. So they both just switch, and that will be the solution. And what do you know? Alright, let's play a few more games of this. And we'll keep that, and I go like that. Alright, again. There's going to be a certain amount of similarity from along all these games when I play it, because I like to be consistent in my strategy, and I'm not ever really looking to try to get the shortest number of moves. I always try to develop strategies that will guarantee me success. Alright, and I think that there's enough spaces on this board that there's no way that I can't get it by employing this strategy. Alright, red is not in it. Alright, blue is in it with duplicates. So let's keep them there just to try it. We gotta figure out where they are. We don't know for sure. We do know that they're in the puzzle though. So now let's try to see if yellow is in the puzzle. Okay, we still only have 2 scoring pegs, so we know those have to refer to the 2 blue, so we know that yellow is not in the puzzle. We also know that one of these is correct, and the other one needs to be in a different position. So I'm going to say this one is correct, and we'll move one over there like that. And then now, let's check to see if green is in the puzzle. Wow, alright. I was not expecting this. So what I know is that one of each of them is correct, right? So if I were to think that both blue were correct, then the 2 greens have nowhere new to go to, right? And vice versa. If these were both correct, then the blues have nowhere to go. So it has to be one of the green and one of the blue are correct. I'm going to just guess that it's these 2. Right, which means then that these 2 are not correct. So we'll just flip them, and we'll see what that gets us. Nope, I got them all wrong. Well, okay, if they're all wrong, that just means I have to just switch them, doesn't it? So we'll put the greens on the outside, and we'll put the blues on the inside, and that should be it. There we go. Alright. Let's go do a few more of these. And again, I feel like I'm getting kind of speedy, so let's try and slow down, Bill. Slow down and do the game. Red is not in the puzzle. Let's see if blue is in the puzzle. Blue is not in the puzzle. Let's see if yellow is in the puzzle. Yellow is in the puzzle. We just don't know which spot yet. Oh, I don't need to keep clicking that. Okay, we'll just try there. Now, let's test to see if green is in the puzzle. Wow. 2 of these are in the wrong spot, and one of them is correct. It cannot be that yellow is correct, because then the 2 greens will have nowhere to go. And again, I'm going to emphasize I know it's 2 green because I only got 1 scoring peg down here for the yellow. So only 1 yellow is in the puzzle. But so I have 3 scoring marbles. That means I have the yellow plus 2 green. And I know that the yellow is not correct again because then the greens have nowhere to go. So it has to be that one of these greens is correct and one of them is not. Now the good news is, if one of them can't go in one of these 3 spots, it has to go there. So we will get a red peg for that one for the rest of the game. Now I just have to try to guess which of these 3 is correct. So, because right, this green is a result of one of these white pegs. So now we're going to pick one of these green. I'm just going to pick that one, why not? And then now let's try yellow in this spot just to see. And so now let's check the next color. I will throw in the pink just to see if it's in the puzzle. Okay, it is not. Alright. So I still know that, well, it could be that both the greens are correct and the yellow goes there. Or it could be that this green, because we know this green is correct, and the yellow is correct, which would mean the green goes over there. Does that make sense? Because I have 2 that are correct and 1 needs to move. Right? I don't have enough information to see one of these 2 is correct and whichever one is not correct goes there. So I just don't know which it is right now. So put this green in because we know for sure it goes there. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move the green. So I'm going to say, oh, maybe this green isn't right. So that means he has to go over there because that's the only space left for him to go, because it's like that. right? Again, I'm assuming that these two red pegs refer to this green, right in the first spot, and that yellow right there, which means the white peg referred to that green, and he goes over there, right? I hope that makes sense. Now I will introduce the white just to see if it's in the puzzle. Alright, I was wrong, so I guessed these two incorrectly. Let's go ahead and move the green back. Alright, so it wasn't the yellow that was correct. So that means it was the green. So we'll put the green back there. And since the yellow was not correct, the only place for it to go is there. So now we will get 3 red pegs for those. And now let's introduce, it's either black or purple. So we'll try the black. What do you know? We got it. Alright, let's go back. Let's do this again. Yeah, I'll play for a few more minutes. And yeah, let's just keep this like this. Alright, nope, no reds. Let's try blue. There is one blue. Okay, let's see which spot. I'm going to guess that one. Don't know for sure yet. Now we're going to guess to see, or we're going to try to see, test it if yellow. Oh my goodness. Now how's that for a crazy amount of duplicates? Well, that was a quick one, wasn't it? Let's try this again. Let's go ahead and move back to red. Nope, no red. Let's go ahead and try blue. Yep, one blue. So no duplicates of blue. Now let's introduce the yellow just to test to see if it's in. Nope, no yellows. But we did guess the correct spot for blue. So we'll put him there. Now let's see if green is in the puzzle at all. Yes, one of the green, so there will be no duplicates of green. So we have our one blue. Again, I'm going to guess, I'll just start from the left, right? And we'll test that one. Now, we're going to introduce the pink to test to see if it's in. Oh, and it is. So, again, we guessed correctly on the green. That's nice. So let's put in the blue. Let's put in the green. Now I have a choice to make. Which of these two pink? I'm going to pick the left-hand one. That's just normally my habit. And then now, it's one of these three will be, the last one. So let's just go ahead and say white. Nope, it's not white. So let's put the blue where it goes. Put the green where it goes. Put the pink where it goes. Now let's try the black. Nope. So now we know it's going to be the purple. So let's put in the blue. Let's put in the green. Let's put in the pink. And let's put in the purple. And we got the correct answer. So let's go back and start another game. Again, I have the habit of starting with red. No reds. Let's test blue. No blues. Let's test yellow. One yellow, so no duplicates of yellow. Now let's test green. Okay, let's see what we get. Oopsie daisy. So we know from this line that yellow is in it, but the white pegs here say it doesn't go there. So it's got to be one of these three other spots. Let's just move it over one. But now the good news is we know that the other white peg refers to just one of these green. So there's no duplicates of green either. And it can't go in any of those three spots. So it has to go there. So green will be here. We will get one red peg for that. And this we don't know about for sure. So let's introduce the pink. Okay, now let's see. Oh wow, good guess, Bill. So the green we know for sure goes there. Well, now we know for sure the yellow goes there because all we have is scoring red ones. So Right, now here's where our dilemma comes. We know that pink's in the puzzle, and we know it's in the correct spot. Well, of course it is, because there's only 2 spots left. We just don't know which of these 2. So let's just pick the left-hand one. And now let's introduce the white. Nope. So we know that green goes there. We know that yellow goes there. And I know that because of this white peg that I picked the wrong spot for the pink. So we'll move the pink over 1. Now we'll test the black. And what do you know? We got it correct. Alright, let's do another one of these. So red, 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 red. Check. Nope. Let's try blue, 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 and check. No blues. Let's try yellow, 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 and yellow, and check. No yellows. Now we'll try green, 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 green. 1 green. Alright. I will arbitrarily choose to try the far left one. Now we'll test to see if pink is in the puzzle at all. Interesting. Okay. Again, it can't be that that the green is one of the correct ones, because I have 2 white scoring pegs. So if green is correct, the pinks have nowhere to go, right? So this is a very familiar thing. We see this, and we will see this pretty frequently. It is kind of why the strategy works the way that it does. So we know that the green cannot be correct, so that means that the green is one of these white pegs, which also means that one of these pink is one of these white pegs, right? Which means, okay, one of the pinks cannot occupy these 3 spots, so one of the pinks has to go to that where the green used to be, and we will get a red peg for that one. Now I also know that one of these pink is in the correct spot. I just don't happen to know which one yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and move the green over to 1, just because it needs to try a different spot, right? Because it wasn't here, or it doesn't go here. Alright, and then I'll just arbitrarily choose to put a pink right there. Right, I hope that makes sense. And now I have 1 more spot to test. So I have 3 colors to choose from. I will just go ahead and go to the white first. What do you know? Good guess all the way around. Alright, let's go back. We'll start another game. I will try red, 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 red. Nothing there. Blue, 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 blue. Check. No blues. Let's try yellow, 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 yellow. Now check. 1 yellow. Let's just try this one. And then now let's put in to test, is green in the puzzle? Green is not in the puzzle, because I still only have 1 scoring peg, and it's white, so it just means that I haven't guessed properly for the yellow yet, or correctly. I mean, not properly, but anyway. So let's just move that over. We've already tested green, so now let's check to see if pink is in the puzzle. And it is, and there will be no duplicates for pink, because we only have 2 scoring marbles. We know yellow's in it, and the good news is we know that yellow has found the correct spot, so he will stay there. Now, which of these 3 pink? As my habit is, I'll choose the leftmost one. And now let's introduce white to test to see if it is in the puzzle. Okay, we know that white is in the puzzle, but now we have a little bit of a quandary to work out. It is whether or not, well, not whether or not, but which of the 2 that the red pegs refer to. I think I just said that in a completely confusing way, and let me try that again. So, because of this line, I know that the yellow has to be correct and will stay there. Okay, now we're on the right track again. Alright, now the problem is here, it can't be the pink one, because then the white has nowhere to go, right? So the pink one is the white one. So one of these white ones is correct. So which one? As is my habit, I'll try the left-hand one. And let's put the pink over there. Alright, I hope that makes sense. Alright, now, I know for sure that those three colors are in. Let's just see if the black is in. And now let's check. Okay, the black is not in the puzzle, but I did guess correctly on the position of the white, which forced the pink into there, so those three are all okay. So let's just say yellow. We'll say white. We'll say pink. And now this is going to have to be correct, isn't it? Because it's the only color left to try. So it's going to have to go there. This is going to have to be correct. And so it is. You know, I'm going to take this off. I haven't really played the 6 that much. So I don't know about how my strategies will work here. So let's see, what should I do? I think I'm going to continue with the same way, because, well, I think it should work okay, because there's more spaces, but we don't have any more colors, so that means only 2 of these won't be in the puzzle, because, again, let's go back real quick, I didn't allow duplicates for this. So I'm just going to do the same thing I've always done so far for this Mastermind game, and let's see if red is in the puzzle. Red is not in the puzzle. So let's see if blue is in the puzzle. Blue is in the puzzle, so let's put blue here. Now let's introduce yellow. Alright, we know that yellow is in the puzzle as well as blue. We also know that the blue is not there, because if it was, then the yellow would have nowhere to go. So I'm going to just choose that yellow, and now let's put blue in the next available spot. And then now let's introduce green. See what that gets us. Alright, 2 of them are correct and 1 of them is not. Again, it can't be that both of these are correct, because if they were, the green has nowhere to go. So one of the red scoring pegs is going to have to be one of these greens, right? Because one of these 2 isn't correct. I don't know which yet. So the white peg refers to either yellow or blue. I'm going to say that the 2 red pegs, because I have to make a choice, one of these red peg corresponds to one of these green. I don't know which. I'm just going to guess that one to the left and we'll see. Again, I'm going to assume that I chose properly with the yellow and that the white peg does indeed refer to the blue. Okay, now, we're not 100% sure about any of these positions yet. But let's go ahead and introduce pink and see what that gets us. Oh wow, alright, good guess, Bill. We know that green is in the right spot. We know that yellow is in the right spot. And we know that blue is in the right spot, because everybody's in the right spot. Now we have a choice to make, though. Pink's correct, but which of the 3? I'm going to choose the leftmost one. And then now let's introduce white and see what we get. Wow, alright. I know that green is good. I know that yellow is good. I know that pink is good. I know that blue is good. And I don't know which of these 2 white, so I will pick the left one as I usually do. Now let's try black. What do you know? We got it correct. Alright, so let's play another one of these. Again, I will just stick with my habit of play, just to see if red is in. We know that red is in, so let's try there, just arbitrarily. Now, let's introduce blue to test to see if blue is in the puzzle. Blue is not in the puzzle, but since this is still red, I know I guessed the correct spot. So, red is in, only one scoring peg, means blue is out. Let's try yellow to see if it is in the puzzle. Yes, yellow is in the puzzle. Keep red where that goes. I'll just test the yellow there. Now let's see if green is in the puzzle. Oh, goody, goody, goody. Alright. We know that red goes there because we've already determined that. Now I have two white pegs, which refer to the greens and the yellow. Now the yellow is easy enough. We just move the yellow over one because we just know I just haven't picked the right spot yet. But now the good news is, why I said goody, is that the green is in the puzzle because I have three scoring pegs, but it can't go in any of those four spots, which means it has to go there. So green has to occupy that spot. Now we're testing yellow. Alright, so now let's introduce pink and see what that gets us. Oh goody. We have four colors, which is four scoring pegs, so we know some stuff. Now, we know that red goes there from before. We also know that green goes there from before. Now, the third red peg cannot refer to this yellow because then the pink have nowhere to move to. So, the white peg has to refer to yellow, so we haven't found its correct spot yet. So let's go ahead and just move it over one. Now, we know that that goes to the yellow, so this third red peg has to be one of these pink. Well, I only have two left to try because I've covered up one of them, haven't I? So, it will be, oh well, I don't know for sure, but I'm going to try there. Alright. I do know that all four of them are in, I just don't know which of these two are correct yet. So let's go ahead and introduce white to test to see if it is in the puzzle. And it is not. Alright, but I know, let's go back to here, we know red. We're also sure about green. So that's those two, right, the two red pegs. Now the two white pegs mean I haven't guessed correctly about either yellow or pink. So I'm just going to move them both over one just to try that. So let's try this one here. Let's try this one here. Again, we don't know for sure, we're just testing. Alright. Pop, 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 pop. So I have those four colors. And since I only still have four colors, the white's not in it. So let's try the black. Alright. Well, we know that both black and purple are going to be in it, don't we? Because I didn't check the duplicates box. And the number of spots left, right? Okay, so, but I still played it the way I played it because I'm trying to confirm position as well. But since these are all red, I know that the ones I had been testing are in fact where they need to be now. Right, so four of these red pegs refer to those four, right? And one of the red pegs refer to one of the blacks. I just don't know which. I mean, I could have thrown the black and the purple in there together, and it would have saved me a turn, I suppose, because I could have just flipped them around. But it doesn't really matter because I had more than enough guesses to get to where I needed to go. Alright, let's do this again. Do this like this. I think I'll play one more of this type, and then maybe I'll try one of the 8s. I've tried it before. I think I solved it. I'm not sure about the strategy I used. I think it was probably the same thing, or a variation of it, which I'll explain when we get there. But okay, let me throw these in. So this tells me that red is in fact in the puzzle. I just chose that one to guess. Now I'm testing to see if blue is in, so check. Right, blue's not in, but I did guess correctly for red. So we know red goes there. Now let's test yellow. Okay. Okay, yellow is in. I just don't know which of those 5 spots. So let's put red where it goes. again, I'm just going to try that one, the left-hand one. Now let's test if green is in the puzzle. Green is in the puzzle, but I have one peg that is incorrect. I know that one of these red refers to this red over here, and the other red cannot refer to the yellow, because again, that would mean the white referred to these greens, but they have nowhere new to go if the yellow is occupied there. So the white peg refers to the yellow. Let's just move it along. Now I have a choice to make. I know that the red peg refers to green. I just don't know which of those spots. We'll just arbitrarily choose that. And now let's introduce pink. Okay, we have no new colors. Or no new scoring pegs. There's just 3. So it's still the colors that I already had. So red, and I know yellow and green, but they're both white pegs, so we have to keep trying different spots. Let's just move them over like that. And now again, I know that all 3 of those are in there, but for me, conceptually, it's just easier to introduce them one at a time to confirm position. And I think I have more than enough guesses to do it. Alright, so one of these is correct, and alright, so which of these is correct and which 2 are not? Alright, just because of whatever, I'm going to say that, well, hang on, let me back up. So it's not certain which of these is what, right? The only thing I do know is that it can't be both yellow and green, right? So one of these 2 is a white peg for sure, although it, alright, and it can't, well, I guess it could be that both of them are a white peg, right? Because then one of these whites, and then these guys would just move over one, right? Or it could be that one of these is right, and then the white peg moves into its, well, okay, if this one's right, then green moves, and then the white peg goes there, right? If the green is correct, then the yellow moves, and the white peg goes there. Right, so I'm going to try, well, let's just try if yellow is correct. Because if that's the case, then white has to go there, and then green has to go here or here, because we never tested this one by itself, did we? So green still has one more place to try. So let's try this, and I'm just going to introduce the black. Again, I know black's in it, I'm just trying to find position as well. Okay, I did find the position. So we know that red goes there, we know that yellow goes there, I know that white goes there, and I know that green goes there. Now I also know that one of these 2 is correct. So we'll put it there, and then the purple goes here. So either this is going to be the puzzle solved, or I'll end up with 2 white pegs, which means I have to flip those. Right? See, that's what happened. So we know that the red goes there. I'm flipping the black and the purple. And then now the rest of these are where they're supposed to be. So we'll just do that. And voila. Okay, nice. Alright, you know what I'm going to do? Just for fun. I'm going to do, let's try the 8. Alright, so I know that all 8 colors are in the puzzle, but I find it conceptually, it seems like it's more effort to me to just try them all at once and then just keep rotating them around. So again, I like to do a thing. I'm going to try one red and the blue. So what I will get is either 2 red pegs, which means I've guessed the red in the correct spot, or I'll get 1 red peg and a white peg, which means the blue is in one of those spots, or and then the red has to move, or I could get both white pegs, which means the blue goes where the red is now, and then the red has to move as well. So let's check that and see what we get. Alright, since it's 1 red and 1 white, right, the red peg can't refer to this one over here, because then the blue has no place new to go. So let's just pick that one there, and now let's just put the red in one of the available spots. Alright, and then now I'm going to test the yellow. Now again, I don't really know any of this stuff for sure, right? I just know that one of these, blue, is correct. But the one thing I do know is that blue cannot go over here to the far left. I mean, that's the only piece of information I know for sure as far as position, right? Alright, so let's say, what do I have here? Yeah, let's just check that. I think that's fine to go. Alright. So, I have 2 white pigs and 1 red pig. So it could be that yellow, one of these yellow is correct, and then these 2 just have to move along. Or it could be that the blue is correct, which means the red moves along and the yellow goes in that space. Or it could be that the red is correct, which means the blue moves along and the yellow takes that space. You see where I'm going? Okay, so I'm going to just go with, let's start with blue. I'm going to move the red, which means then yellow has to go there. Alright, so let's see what we get, and then we'll try to interpret the scoring. Alright, I know that all 4 colors are in, and none of them are in the correct spot. Now the good news for that is that it means that green only has 3 places to try. Right? So, well, let's just put green there. We don't know for sure. But let's move, well, let's just move everybody along, right? Because we don't have enough information to determine, right? So let's, well, let me think about this real quick. Could it be, I'm going to try a thing here. I'm going to move the green here. Or no, do I want to move the green there? No, I don't want to move the green there. I want to try going back to this line, right? Because I don't know which of these that red peg refers to. So if I put the red peg there saying that, you know, this red scoring peg refers to this guy, right? Then, okay, but then that means that yellow has to go where that green goes. All right, you see why that is the case? Going back to this line, if red is correct, right, we know that the blue, well, let's hang on, let me back up. We know the blue can't go here because of this line, right? And if I'm going back to this line and saying that red is correct, then that means that the white peg also refers, or one of the white pegs refers to the yellows, and the only place left for it to go is there. Alright, and then now I could just move blue to somewhere else, but I also have to remember that green can't go in any of the spots it currently occupies on this line, right? So it has to go here, right? So if red is correct, then yellow there, and then green there, right? So if I guess this red correct, I will get at least 3 red pegs, and the blue goes there. So let's see what we get now. I'm going to introduce, I've already done green. Let's try pink. Alright, I've only guessed 1 correctly. So that means it's not this red here, right? So I know now that neither the red nor the blue were correct down here, which I kind of suspected, just because it's kind of an odds thing, right? It makes sense that it would have been one of the yellow, but you can't, well, it's easier to do a direct test on the ones that I did just to rule them out. So now we know that they don't go there. All right, what else do we know? I know that red doesn't go here. Oh, you know, let me back up here. We'll get back to this line in a second. Let me go up to here. I do know that I did guess 1 correct, right? It's not red. What could it be? And it can't, blue doesn't, so red doesn't go here. I also know that red doesn't go here. I also know red doesn't go there. could try red here, couldn't I? Maybe. I'm assuming here that, well, I don't know. What am I going to assume? I know. Okay. Wow, having all 8 things here is kind of, I'm just not used to looking at it, so I have to do a little bit more thinking than I'm used to. All right. I'm going to look at the greens, because I know that green can't go in any of these spaces that it was in before. And if it goes here, what does that tell me? If green goes there, right, then blue, where can blue go? And where can, all right, if green goes there, then the pink has to go in one of these 3 spots. So let's just try it here for now. All right. What else does that mean? If green goes here, pink has to be in one of those 2. We know red can't go there. We know the blue can't go there. All right, so I'm going to say that red will go there, blue will go there, and now I need to find a place for yellow. All right, we already determined that yellow doesn't go there. Okay, so let's try yellow over here. Or, oh, we didn't test this singularly by itself either, did we? Let's get that one. All right, so that gives us 5, right? That's what we got. This is the one that we're saying is the red correct one. The rest of, yeah, I think that looks consistent. All right, so now let's introduce the white, which we know will be in here. We just don't know. All right, nice going, Bill. Bit of luck in that, but that's okay. I'll do the green and then the red. Now, I don't know which of those, of the white, I don't know which of these 3 it is. I'm just going to pick this one over here just to try. Right, and then, since I'm just testing the white's position right now, I'll just stick the black in by itself. I mean, I know both of them are in there, right? Because we know all 8 colors are in the puzzle. It's just about position. So I have more than enough guesses to test what I need to test. So we're going to test white there first. What do you know? I guessed right. So these all go where they go. Green, red, blue. Now, which of these black? I don't know. Let's pick the left-hand one, and we'll throw in the purple. Now, I'm either going to have the whole thing solved and yay, or I'm going to have red pegs for all of these with 2 white pegs, and which means to flip those. Hey, what do you know? I got it correct. All right. Let's see. That's okay. I'm going to have to cut a few minutes off. This is going to be near about an hour, and I think that's going to be enough for this one today. Okay, let's go back over to this. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you got some, well, whatever you needed, whether it was sleeps or whether it was tingles or, you know, just chilling out, or maybe you're even trying to learn the game. Okay, and if you are, I will try to remember to put the link in the description so that you can check that out for yourself. Otherwise, aloha siblings.